Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, it's going to be just a little bit different than you're used to seeing. I'm going to try to answer some questions for the viewers and sit down and really have a long conversation with you guys. Something I don't normally get to do. I'm usually talking about trucks, but today we're going to be answering your questions. I get a ton of questions from time to time on my other social media accounts and this channel. Guys asking questions about trucks, questions about me, stuff like that, and I'm not always able to answer them as completely as I'd like to, you know, typing out a comment and such, but on this format I should be able to answer them completely and fully, so let's go dig into them. Hey guys, we have a lot of questions, so I'm just going to dig right into it and start answering them. So we have 1934 Rod asked me on YouTube, I see a YouTube video where a guy does a front disc brake conversion on a closed knuckle Dana 44. Have you heard of this? How does that truck stop with the front drum brakes all done over? I'm assuming he's talking about the Harbor Blue Highboy here. That truck was pictured in the post where I asked the question if anybody has any questions. So I'm assuming he's talking about this truck as far as how it stops. But as far as the disc brake conversion on a closed knuckle Dana 44, I have not heard of that. If someone did that, that's really cool. I'm going to see if I can find the video, but there is not a commercially available product that I know of that is a disc brake conversion for the Dana 44 closed knuckle. A lot of guys answer that question. It'd be a pretty hot item, I think, if somebody sold that, but that unfortunately I do not know of any commercially available product or any easy way to do it without just custom making stuff. So I'm sure it's very possible if somebody had the tools and knowledge to be able to do that, you know, and make something custom. But as far as an easy way to do it or a commercially available product, I do not know of any, unfortunately. As far as this truck, the way it stops, I'm really happy with the way it stops. With all new drum brakes, it stops. I mean, it does all the stopping I wanted to do. It never had a problem with it. Stopping, you know, as far as stopping with traffic or anything, I haven't done a panic stop with it, I guess, but I don't really want to beat on the truck too bad, but really it stops great, especially with the power brake booster. That does help. You know, it originally didn't have a booster on it, so the booster does help. It wouldn't stop as nice if it didn't have the booster, but as far as braking performance, I think it's fine. If you had something like overdrive in it or a more powerful engine or plan to tow and stuff like that, then you would probably start to see the brakes underperform for what you would like to see. But as far as just driving a truck, you know, Sunday driver and stuff, the drum brakes are just fine, especially if they're adjusted right and all new. So hope that answers your question. Let's move on to the next one. All right, Timothy on YouTube asked me, any updates on the Mustang? What are the plans for it? Possibly putting the engine in a crew cab? Are you looking at possibly doing more Resto-mod trucks that you find that aren't as complete as the ones you currently are building? Great questions. The Mustang he's talking about is our Pro Stock diesel drag car. That's it was in the channel very early on, and we used to do a lot of racing with it. Haven't been doing a lot lately. The diesel series that we usually raced in NHRDA, it went away for a couple years, and we kind of took a break from racing. That car takes a lot to keep running. It's almost a full-time job just to keep that car running. So haven't really been running it a lot lately. Probably should get it out and use it some more, but don't have any plans for it on the channel as of now. Mainly focusing on these trucks because that's what's paying the bills. So but we do need to get the car out. As far as the engine goes and putting that in a crew cab, that engine is not street driver friendly. It is a very radical mechanically injected converted 7.3 power stroke engine, and it's really a pulling truck engine that was made for pulling trucks, and we kind of made it work for the drag car. But as far as streetability, that engine, it is like even getting the thing started is an ordeal. So it's not very street friendly, and that engine definitely won't be making it any street vehicle. It's just going to stay in the car. If we want to get the car out, you know, we'll take it out. That car actually, I believe, I'd have to check the list, but it still is the world's fastest power stroke in the quarter mile. We went 760 at 192 miles an hour in a quarter. I think that was way back in like 2017, but as recently as 2020, I think it went 490 in the eighth. But anyway, that's the Mustang. And his other question was Resto-mods. Are you looking at possibly doing more Resto-mods for the trucks you're building that aren't as complete? I do have some plans in mind for some kind of Resto-modish trucks. We of course do have the ultimate crew cab. I don't know if he's referring to that as not, because I'm kind of keeping that one, or if he meant ones that I'm building to sell. So I'm just going to assume that. So the ultimate crew cab I would definitely classify as a Resto-mod, since it's getting a 6.7 power stroke chassis and engine. But as far as the ones I'm building to sell, there's two trucks that I'm kind of going back and forth with on. My 69 Highboy, not this one, but my other one that was going to be a forestry service truck. We actually started it before this one, but this one got jumped ahead of it because it was more ready to go as far as we did the body swap. But anyway, the other one is my 67 crew cab, the yellow truck, if you remember that one. I want to put a 7.3 Godzilla motor in something, and I was kind of thinking one of those two trucks. One of them would be more factory original, kind of like this one, and the other one we might do Resto-mod, so disc brake axles, automatic transmission, 7.3 Godzilla. I'm not sure yet. I really like the idea of putting it in the crew cab, and with a 10-speed automatic transmission. I think that would be really cool, but I kind of want that crew cab to be pretty original, even though I'm doing four-wheel drive conversion on it, so it's not going to be original anyway. And then the Highboy, it would be cool in the Highboy, but it is an original Highboy, so do I want to go back to stock on it? So that's where I'm currently at on those two projects. So I think on one of those we're going to do a Resto-mod project on that, so stick around in the channel. You'll see that hopefully this year. I'm hoping to get started on at least one of them this year, but we have several trucks I want to get finished before that happens, so we'll see. So moving on to the next question. Carson asked me, do you have any plans on doing more different engine training driveline swaps or keep restoring stock? I guess I just kind of answered that question. Maybe in the future. Fomoco Loco asks me, what sounds better in your opinion on an FE, glass packs or good quality mufflers? I guess since you're asking for my opinion and not a fact, I don't know if you could do a fact on sounding, but in my opinion, good quality mufflers are going to outperform glass packs any day of the week. I'm not a real big fan of the glass packs. I don't really like the sound of them. They do sound old school, so I guess if you're going for the old school hot rod sound, that's kind of what they would go for. But me, I kind of like a real mellow, quiet tone. If you remember some of the videos of my Ultimate Highboy, it's got a pretty loud muffler on it, and it's too loud for me, but a lot of people like the sound of it. But it's got a Flowmaster or Flow FX muffler on it, so I kind of like a good quality muffler. All right, Mason asked me, I got a Flywheel from Napa and ended up causing a bad vibration. Where would you recommend getting one for an FE360? All right, first off, on the FEs, there's two different types of flywheels, so maybe you got the wrong one. I'm guessing that could be a possibility. The only other reason that would cause a bad vibration would be if something was installed incorrectly, but we're just going with you got the wrong flywheel. I'm hoping that's the problem. There's two different types of flywheels, internally balanced and externally balanced. The 360 used an internally balanced flywheel, meaning the flywheel itself is zero balanced. There's also a internally balanced or externally balanced flywheel, which has a counterweight on the flywheel, which that is only used on a 410 Mercury or a 428. So those engines are externally balanced and require a different flywheel. I don't know if maybe you got one of those, but a 360 flywheel should be zero balanced, so it shouldn't cause any problem. You can't put them on wrong because the bolt pattern is unique, and the flywheel itself is zero balanced. So as far as getting one for a 360, I don't really know. We have a ton of extra flywheels, as many trucks as I take apart, and I just take them and get them resurfaced, and you might have to turn a ring gear if the ring gear's kind of chewed up, or put a new ring gear on it. But I've just been getting them resurfaced, and I haven't had any problems with that. As far as getting a new one, I mean, local parts store, you've already done that, but that's where I always like to go if you're worried about getting the wrong part, because you can take it back easy. But I don't know, you might try Summit Racing. Has a lot of good stuff, a lot of parts. You know, it's not just racing equipment now. They have a lot of aftermarket parts like this. You might try Summit Racing, I guess. All right, next question. My 69 F350 has rear drums and front disc with 16.5 wheels. I plan to replace the rear cylinders, the wheel cylinders in the rear. I'm assuming that's what he means. And I'm thinking about rebuilding the front calipers. Any tips on these old calipers? Yeah, they're cheap. Just buy new ones. I think last time I checked, they're like $35 plus a core on Rock Auto for new calipers. I just buy some new ones. I haven't rebuilt them, so I don't have any tips on that. I've just replaced them because they're so cheap. So I guess that's my tip. All right, JD asked me, seems like parts for these are spread across multiple companies. Would be great if you could do a itemized videos and display all the parts needed on the table at the beginning of the vid. Wow. Okay, that would be a lot of work, and yeah, I'd have to have everything on hand before I started the video, and I'm not very good at that. So I'm not sure if I can get that done, but yeah, I understand there is a lot of parts that requires for rebuilding one of these trucks, and you have to spread apart, you know, scour the internet to find all the parts, and sometimes, you know, you can't find them, and that is a problem. I might look into doing that in the future if it's something I think I have time to do. But as far as the best places I look to find parts is, for one, eBay. If you're looking for hard to find parts or want NOS parts, all my NOS parts come from eBay unless I get lucky, you know, and find them locally somewhere at a swap meet or something. But as far as the really hard to find stuff, you know, I've had luck there. And, you know, I just have different companies that I go to for different things. A lot of the stuff you can get from Dennis Carpenter, I get from CP Addicts, which is, they sponsor the parts for this channel and help me out there. But that's for the restoration type parts. For like the just general maintenance, mechanical type stuff, I get from my local auto parts store. So can't really help you out there. You know, Rock Auto has a lot of stuff. I usually go there to look for part numbers and then go from there for other places. But as far as the axle stuff, I like to go to Torque King. They have a lot of stuff, especially the front axles, the Dana 44s. They have a lot of the high boy stuff there. And yeah, there's just so many different places I get stuff. It's kind of hard to name them all, but that's a few of them. Hope that helps you out. Famoko Loco asked me another question. What's your fix for the classic FE exhaust leak? Oh, the dreaded FE exhaust leak. It is rare to have an FE and an old truck that doesn't have an exhaust leak. The manifolds on these things, the gaskets in particular, they just blow out. Then you have that tick, 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 tick of an exhaust leak. It's terrible. And then the bolts, the little tab on the heads that stick up, the bolts seize up in there, and then they snap off, and then it's a big mess. Typically what I do, if it's not like a restoration, if it's a restoration, the bolt's coming out, you know, there's no way around it. If it's just an old truck that I'm fixing up, like my red 69 Highboy that I built on the channel a few months ago now, the ranch truck, that truck has the farm fix, as I like to call it. You just take a drill and drill out the bolt and put a bolt and a nut through it, and usually that solves all the problems, because then it won't seize up anymore. You can take it out and change the gasket if it blows out. So I guess that's my my fix, my farm fix for that. My real fix for that on something that's nice is the heads are coming off and going to the machine shop and getting fixed. So either you drill it out and retap it, or helicoil it, or you get lucky and get it out. So those are my fixes. A cost breakdown for the Ford 360 build. I'm in the process of wanting to rebuild my 360 in my 74. Wanted to see an estimate on rebuild would cost. That's kind of a hard question to answer, because it just varies so much on what all you have to do. So, you know, if it's a really good running engine when you start, it's going to be cheaper. Or if it's wore out, you're going to have to bore it some more, buy pistons, you know, that adds more cost. Or if you spun a bearing and the crank's bad, you gotta get a crank. You know, it just varies so much depending on what is needed. It's kind of hard to say. Generally, when I'm getting something rebuilt, it costs on the low end for the least amount of work $1,000 to $1,200, and for the most amount of work be like $1,600 to $1,800. I think my machinist is kind of cheap, so it's probably going to be more where you are, but he's kind of a old-timer, old-school guy, and he treats me pretty good because I bring him a lot of work, especially when I was doing diesel mechanic stuff. You know, I was bringing him diesel heads all the time, doing head stud jobs, but that's kind of the prices I pay around here. I think if you go to a really high-end machine shop that does racing stuff, it's definitely going to be more expensive just because they have a lot more equipment they have to pay for, and you know, better quality of work, and it's probably you get a nicer product in the end, but you know, significantly costs more. You know, you're up to $2,500 or something, maybe in that range. But anyway, like I said, it just kind of depends on what all you have to do. So unfortunately, that's kind of hard to answer. All right, I have a 73 Highboy with a closed knuckle Dana 44. I have a new spindle with a bearing versus a bushing. Can I run that? I guess if it's made for that, I don't see why you couldn't. A bearing is going to be a lot better than a bronze bushing that's in the spindle for sure. I haven't ever seen one with a bearing. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So yeah, if it has a bearing that's made for that, I don't see why you can't run that as long as it fits. I haven't seen it. Alex asked me, are you a fan of the 306 in these bump sides? Yes, I am. You haven't seen any on the channel. Well, I guess the blue crew cab we bought, it's been a year and a half ago or so. That one had a 306 in it. I did a little bit of work on it, but not anything major. I am a big fan of the 300s. I like them. They are a very good engine, very stout, very reliable, last forever kind of an engine. They have a lot of torque, don't have a lot of horsepower, but they do drive great in these old trucks, and they're very reliable, and you know, I don't have any issues with them. I'm just kind of a V8 kind of a guy, and I think the V8s sell better and are more valuable in the end, so that's kind of what I stick with. But if I do ever get a truck that we're going back to 100% stock on, and it came with a 300 or a 240, that's probably what it's going to get back. So I don't have any in the lineup right now, so right now I don't have any plans. All right, I have a question here. Converting to power steering, have you ever done it? Yes, but I haven't done, I don't know what you're asking about as far as if you're doing a two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. The only power steering conversion I've done is on this truck. It has the Stearman Cycle electronic power steering. So that is a, I guess, power steering conversion because it's power steering, but it's not like hydraulic power steering like conventional. You know, it's electric, so it's electric assisted, and I am really a big fan of it. So that's what I have done. If you want to know more on that, I have some videos on that on the YouTube channel for this truck, so go check those out. All right, Mason Frank has a question. It would be awesome if you did something where people could call in with questions about their trucks. I kind of do something like that already. I don't really have any plans to do it where you could call me. That would just take up too much of my time, unfortunately. Phone calls, you know, if it's on a comment or something, I can reply when I have time, you know, that's something different. But if you're answering phone calls all day, that eats up a lot of your time. So I don't have any plans to do that, but I do have on my Instagram page, Cubic Motorsports on Instagram, I have a subscriber service there where you can, it costs money, so unfortunately it does cost a little money, but I'm doing it so I can aid people in their builds or answer questions or just see behind the scenes stuff for everything I do around the shop here. So it's a monthly service, but I wanted to do something where you're not just getting more content for it. I can actually answer questions, or if you have in-depth things you're looking to do on your truck, or you know, just opinions or build consultations is what I called it, I think, on there. But yeah, so stuff like that. If you're having rebuilding a truck and you're not sure what you're going to do here and there and that, you can subscribe there, and I'll be able to walk you through everything and help you out. So if you guys are interested in that, that's on Cubic Motorsports on Instagram, and it's a subscriber service, And yeah, so I have a lot of people that also ask me about t-shirts. I guess we could talk about that since we're talking about this. They want to know about merch, t-shirts, keychains, stickers, that kind of stuff, and if I have any plans on doing anything like that. And I don't, just because I know it would be a added revenue service for the channel, but the time and energy taken to do that, I'm not sure it would be worth how much money I would make. I don't make anything off YouTube as far as money goes, so I haven't made a dime off YouTube as far as monetization. Everything I do is basically these trucks and selling them, so that's where I get the money and the enjoyment. So that's why I do all this. You know, I'm not here for the money, obviously, because I'm not making any. But if you do want to support the channel, since I don't have like a merch line or anything like that, the Cubic Motorsports on Instagram and the subscriber tab is a great way to do that. So enough with the shameless plug. Let's move on. All right, Rocky Mountain Prospector asked, looks awesome, Matt. Do you plan on restoring to stock on other builds, or I'd like to see the Ultimate Crew Cab getting done and then a build that is making an old truck with upgraded disc brakes, fuel injection, power steering, doing a build that the average person would do. I love the original ones too. You find awesome trucks. It's great condition. I enjoy the channel. Thanks, brother. Hey, thanks, man. I mean, I kind of do that already. I know the ones you've been seeing have been a lot of stock trucks, but yeah, I mean, we have upgraded ones. The first truck on the channel, my Ultimate Highboy, we did disc brakes on it, you know, coilovers on the front, upgraded suspension, fuel injection on it, automatic transmission with overdrive. I mean, that's kind of a modified truck. The Ultimate Crew Cab, like you said, it's definitely a modified truck, so I'm doing that one as well. I'm planning on doing some rust repair on it soon. Since we bought that F26 Highboy, my main focus is going to be moving some trucks and getting some stuff sold to help pay for that project, because that one was a big expense. So that kind of probably hurt the Ultimate Crew Cab, which is my personal project, which isn't going to make money. It just costs me money. So in times like this, you know, it kind of has to wait its turn. But I do hope to get it done, at least started on it in a major way this year. But as I said earlier in some of the other comments, the questions, you know, I have one in the plans in the future on at least the Crew Cab or that 69 Highboy to do a Resto-mod type truck. So yeah, I am planning on doing that. As far as builds that an average guy would do, I'm trying to focus on the high-end restorations like this one. I do some smaller stuff from time to time, you know, cheaper, lower buck kind of stuff, like my red truck, my ranch truck I built. That's kind of my daily driver. You know, that's on the channel, but I don't do a lot of that. So unfortunately, you know, they don't have a ton of the average Joe type builds. But I hope you enjoy the content either way. All right, and this question comes from my subscriber base on Instagram. Hayden asked me, my dad and I have a 72 Camper Special and a 70 standard, F250 standard, that was a utility bed on it, both two-wheel drive. We're looking at a lift on both trucks, the 72 first, the 72 Camper Special first, about 3 inches in the front and 1 inch in the rear. My question is, what kind of lift kit should I get to, or should I get parts to buy? I'm thinking of doing a AutoFab 3-inch economy lift for the 72 pretty soon. I've heard about it, read some good things in the forums from guys. Wondering if you're familiar with that. Recommendations with these trucks. And on the 70, we want to try to do a long bed flare side to swap the utility bed. Do you happen to know the best possible place to find one? I know you can get one from LMC, but I'd like to try to find one before we drop $3,000 on a bed as a last resort. Okay. Well, as far as the lift on the two-wheel drive goes, it's pretty hard to do because the geometry of the twin I-beam suspension, when you lift it up, your camber is going to be way off. So unfortunately, it takes a lot of parts to do. The AutoFab kit is where I would recommend you go. That's the best as far as I know, because it changes the actual beams, I think. I'm not sure on the economy lift. I haven't personally installed one, so I'm not 100% sure. But the ones I've looked at, they have a new actual beam that you have to send in, or they modify the original one, or they make a new one or something. But they actually change the angle of the caster, or not the caster, the camber. And that's probably what I would go on that route. If you go in like 3 inches, like a significant amount to make it look more like a four-wheel drive. They look really good on the trucks I've seen with that AutoFab kit on them. If you're just looking for a little bit, what I've done is new coil springs, because the old ones do tend to settle. So you put just standard replacement coil springs on them, and it picks them up a good 3/4 inch, half inch, you know, thereabouts, depending on how saggy your stock springs are. But you can only go so far before the caster becomes an issue. So unfortunately, I mean, that's the only one I really know of. There's probably some other ones, but the AutoFab is the one I would look into. It's kind of pricey, but it does take a lot of parts to do them correctly. So, and on the flare side bed, yeah, I think you're either going to get a new one or you have to find a used one. That's kind of just the way it is. I don't really have a good place for you to check as far as getting one. Junkyards, find somebody parting out trucks, or just buy a truck that has one on it and take the bed off it and then sell the truck. I mean, or put your utility bed on the truck and sell the truck. That's kind of what I do as far as that kind of stuff. You know, if you see something you like on a truck, as long as the truck's not stupid expensive where it's really nice or something, if it's just a, you know, an old truck, just buy it for a few $1,000s, take the part off you need, put whatever parts you have back on it, and then sell it, and, you know, either get the same amount or a little bit less. You know, that's kind of the way I would turn you to. But anyway, thanks for subscribing. I hope you have a good luck finding a bed for your 70, and good luck on the lift kit. Well, anyway, guys, that's it for the first time I'm doing this for the question and answer session. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more of these, and I'll think about doing them in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up so I know you liked this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.